we need to talk about the silent genocide happening in Congo. The exploitation of Congolese people has claimed millions of lives through media and news.
The things I saw there were so appalling, and I thought people need to know about this.
Hold up. When we talk about Congo's exploitation, where does it really begin? Let's start with when Belgium entered the chat. Under King Leopold II, Belgium controlled vast resources like rubber, copper, and ivory. This was the colonial era, which introduced reckless exploitation of both people and nature. Millions lost their lives to slavery, forced labor, disease, and famine. But in 1960, there was a chance for a new start. This was when the DRC gained independence and had its first Prime Minister, Patrice Lumumba, who envisioned a country that would use its natural resources to benefit its own people. But just months after independence, he was overthrown, captured, and executed in a coup backed by Belgium and the CIA.
One of the issues that has constantly plagued the Democratic Republic of Congo has been political instability and chronic mismanagement by successive governments.
Leaders that followed continued the cycle of exploitation and corruption, from Joseph Mobutu to Laurent Kabila and his son Joseph Kabila. The DRC's mineral wealth was sold off to foreign investors at laughably low prices. Everyone wanted a piece of the cake, from international countries to its neighbors. Currently, over 100 armed groups like the M23 and the FDLR seek control in the mineral-rich eastern DRC.
You have a country that is effectively one of the richest countries in the world, certainly the wealthiest country in Africa, with all kinds of resources that you can imagine, some of which have not even been discovered.
Exploitation by Belgium and later DRC's own leaders set the stage for decades-long conflict and violence. To ensure a better, brighter future, the power of the country's resources must be given back to the Congolese people. Today, we have a very special show for you. Taking you to the richest country in Africa, we're exploring the Democratic Republic of Congo, a country bursting with riches like cobalt, diamonds, and gold. But that wealth comes at a devastating price. With rebels seizing control in parts of the country, the battle for minerals and power rages on, leaving destruction in its wake. This week on the 77%, we hear firsthand from young miners, some of them just school children, and explore what it will take for the Congolese people to reclaim their land. My name is Okeri Ngushinado. Welcome to the show. Let's dive into what's coming up. We hear from artisanal miners in the south of DRC risking their lives and health in pursuit of precious minerals. In Goma, the tragic passing of a boxing champion has left a void in the local athletic community. And in Lubumbashi, young creatives are reshaping the mining city's image. In recent times, the spotlight has been on DRC and the fight for its minerals. In the country, an estimated 500,000 to 2 million people are directly dependent on artisanal mining. And here's a fun fact. Those minerals end up in our everyday items like phones, electronics, jewelry, and for some, electric cars. It is a job that is dangerous and heavy on the body. But have young Congolese ever considered diving into the sector? Let's hear from them.
We need mining for manufacturing of certain goods that we use all the time, among other things, telephones and certain machines.
Because it's part of technology. In fact, for us as ISTA students, mining is an important aspect of our studies.
Personally, the mining sector has never really inspired me. But hey, sometimes people say it's risky. You sometimes see the mines there. People can die easily. But they also say it's profitable. So we compare the money. It's possible we go there as long as we make money. We take the risk.
It is certainly a risky job. And in our first report, we're in Haut-Katanga region, well known for its natural resources. There you can find informal mining workers tunneling deep into the red dirt and shifting through rubble just to find these precious minerals. Let's hear from their stories.
Haut-Katanga, located in southeastern DRC, is a region that inspires both hope and concern. Its vast reserves of critical minerals, which include cobalt, copper, and lithium, are crucial to their energy transition and attracts companies from around the world. But Katanga's wealth often comes at the expense of local people.
My biggest fear is that we as a population cannot benefit from our natural resources.
The greed extends to the poorest communities where mining remains the most viable source of income.
Nowadays, children don't want to go to school. They want to work at the mines.
Activists fighting exploitation in Haut-Katanga are striving for improved educational opportunities for the region's youth.
I'm now engaged to prevent children who are in places where minerals are exploited so that they will no longer have to suffer in the same way that I suffered.
The government estimates that 20% of the cobalt exported from the DRC comes from Haut-Katanga's artisanal miners. Approximately 110,000 regular artisanal miners work in the region, with numbers rising to about 150,000 seasonally. With few authorized artisanal mining sites, many miners enter illegal private concessions. The town of Fungurime, located about 270 kilometers from Lubumbashi in Lualaba province, grapples with the harsh reality of illegal artisanal mining. This practice deeply affects the community and economy. Felipe Masudi, a former artisanal miner, guides us through the underground world of this clandestine activity. He fights for a better life for thousands of young miners and wants to protect them from exploitation. We're able to capture their daily lives with the help of a hidden camera, allowing us to meet miners directly in undisclosed locations.
Is there any cobalt here?
No, there's only copper here.
How deep is the hole down there?
It is too deep.
How many people are inside the mine?
Over there, I left 45 people down in the hole. The minerals extracted from these shafts fuel global greed. Despite their high market value, miners barely benefit. A full night of digging yields merely 3 10 kg bags, while industries can produce tons of the same material in mere hours. Near Ruwashi mining in Lubumbashi, mining activities generate significant profits for the multinationals, a stark contrast with the extreme poverty of local communities. Out of desperation for survival, children and their families break apart mining waste to extract cement components, endangering their health to make ends meet. Such is the case for these twin brothers. We are breaking stones here in Masogoshi to prepare for our school year and to buy clothes and notebooks. We've been here for 2 months. We'll start school later in the year. The whole family is gathered at this mining area. The twins are busy breaking up the stones while their aunt, who is nearby, collects the pieces to sift through them. This way, the process is both quick and efficient. The aunt explains to us the reasons that bring them here.
My name is Miguel. I live in this neighborhood, Kawama, in this commune of Ruwashi mining. Here, I sift these stones to extract the finest elements for making mortar used in construction. A bag like this sells for 2,000 Congolese francs. In a day, we make 10 bags. It's really tiring, all this movement. My whole body is moving and it hurts. I do this because my husband is unemployed. Finding a job is very difficult in the DRC. Mining is a unique job which allows us to better meet the specific needs of our children.
In Lubumbashi's Rashi mining neighborhood, named after a major mining company, the contrast between wealth and poverty is striking. Residents here struggle daily just to survive. This community's circumstances illustrate how misery and opulence can coexist, even in a region rich with resources. At this secret trading counter, the buyer fixes the price of all the minerals that transit through this place.
We find a Chinese person who sets up his buying counter at the site, and it's the same person who sets the price. He says the content is 4%, and we'll pay like this, 5%. We pay like this, 6%. We pay like this. So they are the ones who impose the price.
The miners must accept whatever price is offered.
What truly moved me was the level of misery and suffering I saw in these young people's eyes.
China remains overwhelmingly dominant in DRC's mining sector, with its firms owning over 70% of Congo's copper mines. Activists in the DRC have voiced concerns about China's heavy presence in the country, while locals remain at the bottom of the food chain. Beyond the financial exclusion of Congolese from the mineral boom, the environmental impacts are severe. In the same Fungurume region, ravaged by industrial pollution, Benny Fwanda, an environmental enthusiast, feels powerless in the face of injustice. Together with Sylvie Manda, a civil society member and expert on women's issues in the mining sector, they set out to meet local communities to better understand the environmental challenges they face.
We are in Manomapia, near Fungurume, and we are here to meet these mothers. You see them there doing the laundry. They're out walking with their children, and we've come to tell them that this river is already polluted.
The problem with Fungurume is the factory here. You see those white things, it's the acid, and this was a swamp river. The women here are using that polluted water. There was a big river here.
Just a few years ago, the Manomapia River was the only source of water for the entire community. But intensive mining activities have polluted the water, making it unsafe to drink. With no alternatives, the communities are at the mercy of this contaminated water.
My little brother, look at you jumping into this water. Please, do you know that this water is acidic and dangerous?
We're already dead because of the acid.
No, don't say that you're dead. Don't you have any other water sources here?
No, there's no water here. So where are we supposed to wash our clothes and other things?
The young people in this region face a grim choice: poison themselves just to survive. With no access to clean water, their options are limited. As more parties join the fight for DRC's vast minerals, protecting the local men, women, and children is a task Felipe and many others will continue to do.
We cannot ignore the efforts of many like Felipe and the work they're doing to raise awareness, fighting against exploitation, and advocating for the environment. Their stories deserve our spotlight. Meanwhile, in Goma, Eastern Congo, tensions are at a boiling point. M23 rebels, backed by neighboring Rwanda, seized the city in late January, leaving devastation in their wake. Among those affected was boxing champion Kobimango. We featured him already for his inspiring work in founding a sports club to train street children. Though he is no longer with us, his legacy lives on through his colleagues.
He is no more. Balezi Bagunda, Elias Kobimango, nicknamed the champion of champions, the legend, was on his morning run through the streets of Goma. A devoted boxer and mentor, he dedicated his life to helping struggling youth. His passion for the sport and unwavering commitment made him a beacon of hope, drawing young fighters to his refuge, searching for guidance, purpose, and a second chance.
When I was in the street, I often saw him every morning running to do his sport. One day I decided to follow him, shouting, "Master, Master!" At the time he trained here, before the place was demolished to build another.
This is what the stadium looked like 5 years ago. Before it was demolished, a sanctuary for former street kids and ex-soldiers, all hungry to learn the art of boxing. Kobimango knew their struggle all too well. He had once been a child soldier himself, battling hardship before rising as a champion. That's why he was so motivated to help this young man who was left to fend for himself.
I want them to be off the streets and to abandon their rebel mentality. They must learn to take control of themselves and create their own jobs. I'm here to help them achieve this so they can help their communities. This is why I am proud to train them.
Héritier Mbala further recalls his life-changing experience with Kobimango.
I was very committed. Every time the master arrived, I was the one who took care of arranging the equipment and setting things up. He appointed me captain of the club because of the courage I showed. My life was all about training and the street until the day master asked me what I did after training. I told him about my life as a street child. That's when he asked me to come and spend the day with him here at the Kibambi garage. Thanks to him, I learned mechanics and became an auto electrician.
Mbala, now both a renowned boxer and auto electrician in the city, acquired the majority of his skills through Kobimango.
We still train them in boxing, and after practice is over, they all come back to work as mechanics.
But everything changed when the M23 rebels entered Goma. About 7,000 people died in the clashes, according to the United Nations. Kobimango was among the victims. Kobimango, the champion and hope, is dead. There's a powerful feeling of anger mixed with pain. His loved ones are inconsolable.
That day, there were many gunshots. The next morning, I received a message. My master had passed away. Red card for Kobimango. His boxing career has ended.
3 whistle blows. That's how they said goodbye to their champion, to a symbol of hope for the youth. In this very stadium where he trained, where he fought nearly all his battles. The exact cause of his death remains unknown. Only whispers and rumors fill the air, as his disciple, Héritier Mbala, explains.
The master told us that he was protecting the population and their property. For example, when a thief caused trouble and it was difficult to stop him, we often called on our master. He would capture him and hand him over to law enforcement. But during the recent entry of the M23 rebels, many detainees escaped from local prisons. So, according to some rumors, it's these detainees who killed the master. But there are also talks of rebel involvement. No one knows exactly who it was.
Kobimango now rests in his final place. Whether an investigation will be launched to uncover his killers remains uncertain. In times like these, nothing is guaranteed, but his family demands justice.
The best memories I have of him is what he taught me. Today, thanks to him, I can take good care of my wife and children. I used to be a brutal person, and the advice he often gave me was, in life, you don't have to fight constantly. Strength is hidden, and you only show it in the ring.
2 weeks of mourning have passed. Now, the young athlete is back in training, honoring his master's words, never give up. Today, he gathers his teammates ready to push forward. Their goal? To stay sharp and face the challenges ahead. Kobimango's friendship club lives on, carrying his legacy. Now, they pass on their hard-earned knowledge to a new generation, keeping the fight alive, not in war, but in the ring.
For my future, I wish to follow his inspiration. Kobimango loved to bring people together, to become a family and help them. I will also bring young people together, whether in sports, at work, or by helping those in greater distress than myself, to see what surprises the future holds for us.
The champion might be gone, but his legacy as an advocate of peace and hope will live on in the hearts of Goma's children.
A true champion even in death. But can sports really help manage aggression and stress? Let's hit the streets of the capital, Kinshasa, and hear from the young people themselves.
Sports is better defined as a discipline, since sports isn't about learning martial arts and then teasing others along the way. It's about being disciplined toward yourself, like I am. It's for self-defense, which is encouraging. And I don't let anyone see that I am athletic unless I am attacked.
Playing sports allows you to let off steam and vent your anger.
For me, to de-stress, I commit to my studies. Sometimes I like to read something about architecture or music.
I can agree with some of those sentiments. For me, going to the gym or singing out loud is my kind of stress relief. And for others like Lydia Katanga, modeling and photography provide a creative outlet. The mining city of Lubumbashi is not the first place you have in mind when you think of high fashion, right? Then be ready to be thrilled by its young, creative scene.
A model casting in Lubumbashi, the famous mining city in the southern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Organized by Lydia Katanga, a model and owner of a modeling agency, the aim is to find new faces and put Lubumbashi on the fashion map.
I have always wanted to be a model, but really didn't know where to start. I created the fashion agency Agora in 2022. This agency is dedicated to modeling and organizing fashion events. We've been organizing the Lubumbashi Fashion Week since 2022. For the next Lubumbashi Fashion Week, our theme is Our Land is Beautiful. The idea is to connect with our environment. Our country, DRC, has land that is very rich, so we want to compare this wealth to the talents of the designers featured here.
Lydia also wants these minerals' riches to be reflected in her own work. Her home is known for ruthless exploitation of copper, cobalt and other minerals, leaving behind polluted wastelands.
We are going to the Kipushi Desert, as we call it, for a photo shoot that I organized. I want to use this location because it's very beautiful and it relates to our theme, so it's ideal for the photos.
Kipushi Desert was once a nature reserve with a river flowing through it. Known for its copper and zinc reserves, the area's desertification is the result of mining companies dumping their waste and acids there. This pollution contaminated the water, leading to the disappearance of the river and gradually transforming the entire area into a desert. The local community, which depended on this river, now finds itself destitute. Lydia Katanga and her photographer Nicolas Wassa want to showcase the destruction and use the site as a backdrop for the fashion pictures.
Instead of going to an area with a lot of life, we chose this location to show a dead earth. I would like to use this place to highlight this paradox, but also to show that the dead land can also be beautiful and that we can give life to something that is already dying.
His ideas are reflected in his pictures. The harsh sun contrasts the colorful makeup and nails. The restrained colors of the clothes match the sand. This embedded style, subtle yet impactful, gives depth and dimension to the photos, conveying the artist's message.
Katanga is known for its minerals. It's normal that more attention is paid to the minerals than other aspects. I believe it is our duty to showcase our other assets. We need to draw attention to other things. It's up to us to make ourselves seen amidst all the wrong.
Lydia fights every day to put Lubumbashi on the map for modeling, or anything but mining, as she says. She wants to shift the attention to a Lubumbashi beyond the destruction and exploitation. The Fashion Week is a good start. It is where young people are able to express themselves. And for Lydia, it is one more step toward shaping the image of her home.
And she is doing a great job highlighting the beauty of the city. Now, the situation in DRC highlights the impact of greed, power, and the lack of same has on every individual. The stories of resilience, pain, and the fight for survival are only one side of this country. So let's wrap up the show on a hopeful note. We asked some students on what they wish for their future.
For now, I want to be independent. I'm going to be an emancipated woman because that's why I'm studying.
Being an international architect, why not?
I would like to work in a shop selling clothes, shoes, makeup, and cosmetics to people.
To have a dream is to have hope. And we thank all those who have shared their stories with us today. The conversation does not end here. Connect with us through our social media channels. We'll always love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Okeri Ngushinado, and I'll see you next time.